All right, Ralph. Sorry for the delay.
Hours now.
I'm taking a lot of gyms too.
Okay.
Hey.
Cool. So yeah, we got a chance to meet online. We were on social media. I don't even know how it started. I think you. So if you guys don't follow Ralph on social media, what's your IG handle?
The Tatted Life Agent.
The Tatted Life Agent.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I just remember I saw a couple ones that I thought were really funny, and I was like, part of it is like I'm like, it's funny to me because I'm like I think the same way, but I'm like I don't know if I'd be so bold to say it.
Right.
So I respect anyone that just puts himself out there and just decides to just share information. And yeah, I mean maybe it's communicated in a different way than how I normally would on a normal day-to-day basis or business basis. But the thing is, there's people like that need to hear that. Right, so the thing is, the way that I communicate, the way that Julian communicates, the way that John communicates, the way that Ralph communicates, it's all different. And we're going to hit different demographics, we're going to hit different people. And the one thing we all have in common is we believe in this product and service, right?
Oh yeah.
Why is this product or service so important to you? Why is insurance important to you?
Well, I mean, because where I grew up, everyone does the car wash and stuff like that. And I've personally seen people lose homes and cars and stuff like that and their life up because they didn't have life insurance.
Right.
But I never even heard about it till I started doing it, and then they started telling me about the different products and getting money back. I was like, damn, how come we were never taught this? Because most of the time we're just naive. We don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. So we just do a car wash.
So before you got into insurance, what was even your conception about life insurance in general?
I didn't know anything about life insurance. I never thought about it. I think I had like a free policy through my work, and that was it. I didn't even think about it.
Okay. So let's take a little bit of a step back then. What did you do before this? How'd you get into insurance in the first place?
Well, I was 10 years in oil field construction, running pipelines and stuff like that. Eventually, someone pissed me off enough to where I said, good job. I need to give my own self a raise. If I want to get a raise, I need to give myself a raise.
Hey.
So I went ahead and went for it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just did Uber for a little bit. I was still working in oil fields, but eventually I ended up taking my real estate classes, did everything, passed all my classes, and I was ready to take the test. And then COVID happened and they shut down the testing for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, a girl kept on bugging me about life insurance from the previous company.
Trying to sell you a policy?
No, she wanted me to join. Yeah, we would just go back and forth on our comment. And she was cool. So I said, okay, I'll give it, a try, whatever. Took the test. It was only 32 hours. Knocked it out in a weekend. Took the test the next week and started making money. And I realized this is bad. Real estate. I'm going to do life insurance. We could build a business here too. So that's why I came here. And
so how long have you been licensed now?
3 years, but I think I'm really only been involved for about 2 years. Yeah.
What kept you from starting sooner, or why not the full 3 years? Like
I just took a break. I was done with the oil fields, and I did write a little bit with the practice company, but it wasn't really a priority to me at the time, I guess, because I just had the money to just a little bit,
Good for you. Did you actually get into real estate, or are you just kind of looking at it?
No, I never did. I never looked back into it. I took all the classes. I could still take the test probably now, but I don't really want to invest my time in many different things. Yeah. I'd rather just focus on this, build a business here, and that's it.
Yeah. I really agree with you on that, because I had that thought process myself. I thought about, I'm gonna get into real estate also. If I know how to sell, then I can sell real estate and insurance. But yeah, the reality is most of the time what happens is you create too many distractions for yourself, and then you start spreading yourself thin. And then instead of being really great at one thing, like you're just kind of okay at a bunch of different things, and you're probably gonna make less money than you would at that one thing that you're truly intentionally focused on the entire time anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, it's a good thought, but if you're starting out, it's not a good thought, right? So if you do want to do all these things, I think it's better, maximize and then master one first. Okay, let's say you're great, you got a whole agency, you could step away from the life insurance, then maybe venture into real estate.
Right.
Now you can put more time and effort on that.
Right.
But if you're brand new on both of them, where's the time and effort? How are you going to learn this and how are you going to master this when you're splitting yourself thin? Right.
Yeah. If you really want to be successful at that, get really good at one thing, build enough money where you can pay someone to delegate certain aspects of that business. So you don't need to spend physical time doing those same processes. Because the thing is, if you step away from that profitability is going to go down on this thing, right? But if you can pay someone to do a reasonable percentage of a good job of what you could do, and then just have them continue to maintain that while you still learn another skill or get into a different industry, that potentially could work. But even then, after 17 years in the industry, I've never looked back at getting into real estate, because I'm like, why?
Right.
There's still more money to be made here. I still have a lot to learn here. I still have a lot of people to help. I mean, so it's been great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So so how was your start in insurance? Was it pretty simple? I mean, did you hit some bumps? I mean,
I say my biggest bump was recent, but starting out, I mean, I had so much people on my Facebook and stuff like that. I really didn't have to deal with leads. Like I just kind of just sit out there and people bid, and I was cool. My first 10K month, I think was my second month here with FFL, second or third month, and it was all through Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I was able to still generate a decent income more than the oil fields just by leads. I mean, just by warm market.
So it's
organic marketing through
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
so you're putting out ads at all, or it's just you're just putting
No,
out
that
posts
was
on
just me
Facebook?
just posting like just dumb posts. You know what I mean? They just people just liked it, I guess. And like, hey, I want life insurance.
Yeah.
Give
So
them
tell
quotes and then just
talk about this your strategy on that, because it is funny, it's captivating, it's
Yep.
different, it's a different type of marketing, right? Compared to like the average like canned marketing.
No, it's not a
I
cookie
can't-
cutter, not the normal
Canned
cookie
commercial,
cutter stuff.
right?
well, you know what's funny is I'm not even like that. I'm pretty quiet. I'm like I just post just for the hell of it.
So are you making that up, or you're finding that?
Oh, I'm
and
making it
copying
up. I'm
You're
making it up. I'll find stuff, make it up, and just throw it out there and just see what people say. you
Man, this
know,
guy's a
like,
marketing genius.
Yeah, but I'm personally, I'm not even. I'm real quiet. I'm real reserved. But I mean, I just think it done put it out there. I don't.
You would think what your clients would appeal to, or
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
be like, okay, I can
Yeah,
feel that.
because I can't just tell them, hey, life insurance is for multi-generational wealth. They don't give a fuck about multi-generational. Unfortunately, they don't.
Right.
So I have to introduce it to them in another way.
Yeah, I've seen one you were talking about, like somebody just like would rather get their nails done than take care of.
Oh
their
yeah,
life
yeah,
insurance.
yeah. Exactly. They don't speak that language yet. So you have to figure out a way to get into their head and realize like, hey, that's funny, but he's telling the truth. Like if I die, my kids can sell my lashes and my fakes on offer up. He gets life insurance. So that's
I've seen one too where it's that the girl and the boy texting each other.
Oh, yeah,
What's your biggest hit? What was the biggest
Well, yeah, what's the
response?
most effective post?
most of that's probably one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you
I
did a few of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that one's a pretty good one. I mean,
But out of all of those, which one? Like maybe that you could share.
I'm on blank. I don't even know.
Oh.
'Cause, yeah, there were just so many. I took a lot down too, just to try to clean it up.
I remember that.
But
So were you being censored? Somebody told you to put it down?
someone told me if I'm considering an integrity deal, I should probably clean up my stuff now.
Okay.
So yeah, that was, people higher up than me
Yeah.
recommended that. So I was like, okay, I guess. But then I got
What-
kind of bored and I'll throw it out there here and there. So it's like-
So was this within your hierarchy or someone else from
Within a
different team?
hierarchy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was okay, I'll be coachable. But I don't like it sometimes, like I like to be able to put it out there and speak my mind.
I mean, that's pretty cool though, but it got so popular and so big that somebody started watching from above and say, hey man,
Well, they actually said that Andrew Taylor or Sean Mike was saying like, hey,
tone it down.
he's pretty funny. And then Andrew Taylor himself came up to me and said, hey man, you're probably like one of the funniest dudes. Or like, yeah, he told them that and
That's
he came up and
facts.
said, I like your memes. And I don't know. I mean, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just throwing it out there. But yeah, they were just saying if you want an integrity deal, you want to be taken more seriously. I understand.
No, but I mean, I think it it's not for everybody. Let's just put it out there. But the thing is, I think it actually does provide a valuable service because I mean, if certain people are going to get offended because like it hits home, then it's
Right.
like, yeah, that's a person you really need to reach. And some of it, some of it's a little tongue in cheek, it's just a little playful thing. But there's people legit that fit those categories in which you're kind of like appealing to with those funny memes.
Yeah.
It's like those are the people that really need to hear about this. They're the ones that really need to do it. So yeah, and you are right. I mean, yeah, would you say that generally you're would people like you're not really the type of person that people automatically assume you to be, when they just judge you based off of your social media or whatnot, right?
Yeah, I'm not nothing like that. I'm really quiet, really reserved. Yeah, I don't really talk much.
Yeah.
That's just I just put my mind out there and just see what happens.
No, I can attest to that because I remember on social media, I used to like scroll through your stuff and I'd be like cracking up. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever too, because, I just think who else would really put themselves out there like that?
Yeah.
And, I always appreciate people that take risks and people and instrumentally, it does help people because the people that respond, they wouldn't have got insurance otherwise.
Yeah.
But then when I actually got a chance to meet you in person, I think it was up at your guys' office in Bakersfield, right?
Yeah.
I came up to do a business overview, and then Ralph was a super cool dude. And we started talking, and then I was like formally introducing myself, and I'm like, it's not really the guy that I originally expected, which turned out a really cool dude. And I'm just like, okay, I see this guy. And then I see him at all the different conferences and all the events. I mean, like, yeah, I gain a new perspective rather than just prejudging someone based off of the little bit of information that we can go off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And just FYI, I mean, out of our group, big fans of your stuff too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We do share within our group and just have a crack at it.
I'm gonna make a comeback too. So
I mean, maybe I don't know. What if you put a comment on the caption saying disclaimer?
right, I should.
Will that like alleviate you some
Yeah, I don't know.
reprimand?
Yeah.
I don't know, but this also goes to the conversation that Julie and I were having. It's like regardless of if you want to copy somebody, you want to be cookie cutter, you want to like follow a certain like prescribed method and just think, oh, this person's like doing so well, I'm just going to copy every single thing that they do. The thing is like you're gonna hit a ceiling anyway, right? Because it's like, all right, you can't differentiate from this person anymore. Like, they start talking about certain things that you haven't done or you're not in position to do, and then where does that take you from there? So copy the things that you need, steal the things that already are working, and then just be yourself.
Man, we had agents like agency teams in their Instagram, like they were just dancing. We never did that. You all didn't allow us, right? But yeah, there was like people that were doing the following the TikTok trends where they were just like dancing in their Instagram reels. I'm like, how does this capture an audience, right?
No, well, I mean, there's certain things on social media where it's like trending. I mean,
right.
So certain things, I mean, if you do, I mean, but you got to make it your own, right?
Yeah.
And then whether that's genuinely you or not, I mean, I think that authenticity will come across to people with enough exposure, with enough time. So, just be you. So, so at this stage, like what's your main focus on the business now?
My main focus is to build. Like that's my main focus now, is to build and help as many people as I can.
Okay.
Because I just came out of a really bad struggle, and in the middle of that, I was noticing people falling off, and I really don't like seeing that.
Okay.
And I realized a lot of people weren't getting the help that they needed. And it's not that they weren't trying, they weren't applying. That's the thing, is they were really applying themselves, and they're not getting the help they needed. So in the middle of my situation and my team falling off as well, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, I needed to figure out what works and try to make it as simple as possible, because we have a lot of training. We do have a lot of training, which we're blessed with, but sometimes that could be an overload that could cripple them just as bad as having none.
Right.
And so I just wanted to make a simple little process, and I gave it to people and let them use it, and it worked out pretty good. So
yeah. So to drill down to that a little bit more, I mean, what did you learn from that? And what are you doing differently this time around?
Differently, well, I mean, I'm definitely like, when it comes to selling process, well, because I got like $1,000 of chargebacks, and I've scared the hell out of me.
Okay.
I had to change the way I was selling, I had to change what I was saying. I was like selling people policies where I kind of knew they couldn't afford it, but I was giving them highest and mid and lowest. And I just wasn't paying attention to what the real need was according to their budget. I'm not going to say I'm a master salesman, but I guess I was good enough to get them to commit to something that was more than what they needed or what they could afford. And that's not good though.
Right.
So I had to tweak what I was saying, had to tweak and also like getting them to try to commit to a policy right then and there, which is not always possible. But I just had to change like a couple of things I was saying and doing, like as far as basically the finances part was probably the biggest part. So now I don't quote them the highest. I listen to their budget. If they want commission, I'm not going to go 30,000. If their budget is only $1,000 in a month, I'll put like 10, 7, 5. And if it's super bad, I'll go like 7, 5, and 3 if I can. Ever since I did that, my chargeback rate has dropped a lot. So
awesome.
And then you were mentioning you try to get him to apply and get approved and pay immediately instead of post-dating now, right?
For the most part, yeah, that's really difficult to do for the kind of, so, but that's what I try to do. And it seems like once they're in, but if you give them more time and they're pushed out 30 days, which happens, you have to do a lot of times those fall off because they're not committed no more.
Right.
I try to get them in, and once they're committed, then you're probably good.
And how do you avoid them like asking for a post-dated?
Most of the time I'll try to ask them like, hey, so if you are approved for the policy, they're going to take the money out within 48 hours to a week, maybe.
Yep.
Is that a problem? And they say like, well, yeah, actually it is. Then we could try to find another way for them to, if it's a problem, let's go ahead and go down. Can I make a suggestion? Let's just go down to the smallest amount. That way, at least you got your foot in the door. So if you're diagnosed with anything, you may be able to raise your coverage, while you have it. Why? Because you're already in the door.
Right.
So that's one of the ways I try to get them to just go down. you know, and then usually when you go down, they're not, it's like, they're kind of like comfortable with it.
That's actually a really good technique. So, I mean, yeah, you self-admittedly, you weren't a master salesman, but you're starting to get there. This is the whole process, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the best way to avoid, and just to clarify, just the best way to avoid clients asking for a post-dated draft, don't offer it.
Right.
Like just say, all right, hey, so look at it from a multi-step process. You're going to just present the option, you're going to ask the right questions so you can figure out what plans to show. Then you're going to show those plans, and then you're going to get them commit to an option because you're basing off of their needs and what they told you. They said yes. Okay. Now you're going to go through the application. Then when you get to that part of the bank information, just be like, all right, so we're going to put everything through. The first payment's going to come out next 24 to 48 hours. After that, it's going to be in the same day, which is the 12th, which is 13th,
Yeah.
the 13th of every month. Are you good with that? Okay. So never at any point I say, hey, so when would you like this to come out? Because they're going to be like, I don't know, 2 months from now or whatever it is. So don't make it so available for them. They'll tell you if they can't do it. And yes, Ralph's absolutely correct. If they say, yeah, I don't have it right now, you could be like, hey, just so you understand, this is going to be going on every single month. Is this something within your budget? Do we need to look at something smaller? And then that's how you discern whether or not they're actually able to do it. And I get it. Plenty of us have been in that position at some point when we first started, and you're just thinking like, hey, let's just. If the client said yes, I don't understand why they didn't cancel. It's like you're hearing it from your ears and your bank account, rather than like listening from what their actual needs are, what their actual budget is. And we've all been guilty of it at some point. But the thing is, that's okay to make that mistake. But do you learn from it, and do you recognize how do you care about your business long term, and not just be like, I'm gonna chase this big commission right here, rather than I'm gonna protect my business for the long term because I got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you, if there's an agent out there struggling, what advice would you give to them?
Work on your mindset.
How do you do that?
Read books. I mean, most of my mentors are, so I can't learn from them. Never had a business. I never been self-employed or anything like that. You literally have to self-develop here. You're not going to make it. You do that by reading books. The thing is, I can't go and learn from Napoleon Hill. He's dead. I can't learn from Brad Lee, or I can't learn from these people. They're not going to spend personal time with me. So I have to get their books and pick the brain. It's like that. I need to get new information and to unseat my old personality. And I am where I am because of my mindset now. It's all a mindset thing. And then also, like, if you're going through struggles, books come in handy. Like I read Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. There were times where I just read one sentence and it helped me to go another week. There was a point I wanted to quit. And it was like maybe 1 or 2 days, but I really made in my mind that I really can't do this. It was going to get really scary. But I read one sentence or a paragraph and it just changed my whole chemistry. Like even Napoleon Hill said it that way. Like, it changed my whole chemistry of my being to where I felt like I could do this again. Right. So however I was feeling was completely gone. And I felt like I can do this. I'm not going to quit. I knew it was going to get harder, but I decided like, it doesn't matter. I'll just figure things out, instead of quitting, we'll just figure out what works. And then
love it. I mean, I'm glad that and how'd you get that mindset to start reading and figure out answers from there?
Well, I mean, I started reading as soon as I decided that I was going to start a business. That was right after they pissed me off in the oil fields. And I said, I got to become my own boss. So the first thing I did was grab Rich Dad Poor Dad. A math teacher I had when I was found in high school and I was just being a little hoodlum, he would always tell me like, you need to read this book. And it's weird. I never seen a teacher like him. He would always like really impress us on us. Like, you need to read Richest Man in Babylon. You need to read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Every single morning he'd tell me like, you're going to be a if you don't stop falling asleep in class, like you need to read these books. But he drilled it in us so much that as soon as I decided that I was going to do that and start a business, that I went and first thing I did was get that book. Yeah. But once I read that book, I really never wanted to be an employee again. Like it really changed my whole outlook. And from there, it was just consuming books. Like I used to go out a lot. Yeah. I completely stopped. Like they would hit me up, hey, let's go out. I don't want to go out. Like I want to finish this book. And then eventually they just stopped hitting me up because I'm always finishing a book, so like, but I fell in love with reading, so, and I've always been a reader. I've always read the Bible, but now I was like really trying to grow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the time when the teacher told you that, I mean, you didn't really connect with you at the time, right? It was just, you weren't ready to receive that message at the time yet, right?
No. And he really tried to. He was a really caring guy. He really cared about our lives and stuff. And he would get mad at me because I'd fall asleep all the time. And he would lecture me, but he said, you need to read this book. Like, you need to read these books. So, when you grow up, like, you're going to be set by the time you're 30.
That's a good teacher.
He was very, I'm trying to find him on Facebook. I can't find him. But
yeah, you owe him you owe him a debt of gratitude.
Yeah, I want to
So,
tell him thank you, you know, but I remember as soon as I decided that I was going to do this, I went straight to Barnes and Noble, got Rich Dad Poor Dad, changed my life.
it's a great story.
Nice.
Happy to hear that. So what's your daily routine look like?
First thing I do is affirmations real quick, and then I'll go run for like an hour,
Yeah.
and then I'll read, you know, a book, and then just I'll do some visualization too. A lot of times I'll do that like 10, 15 minutes. I'll visualize myself having success. I'll try to feel it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then I just get to work. You know, now I try to make it to the office. It depends on my schedule, but if I plan to be there at 8:30 or 9, like I have to be there at 8:30 or 9 to start my dials, or I feel like off. I get pissed off at myself. I beat myself up real bad. So I know I better get my ass there, start dialing by 8 o'clock. I don't even care if I can't make the second dial like till 2 minutes later. At least I start at 8 and I'm good. But that's typically my dial session will be like start at 9 o'clock.
That's a small victory. I mean, those things add up throughout the day.
They do. And they also you up if you don't follow it.
Right.
So mentally.
Right.
So
It's another reason why I love Ralph, because I'm like, you see the ratchet posts, but then you also see like the work ethic, and you see like that commitment, self accountability on certain things. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a perfect person. So I mean, like a lot of times like people have this conception that like, oh, I'm constantly working and everything. I try to work as much as I can, but yeah, I have times when I slip up, and there's times that
Right.
I'm going through things personally. And you know, it's nice to know there's other people that are just like real, and people going through different things. And you know, it helps you recognize you are where you're supposed to be because of the things you're doing or the things you're choosing not to do. So one last question before we let you go then. Aside from money, Ralph, what do you do this for?
to prove something to myself. I could say my family, that was the way it started. But up to this point, like I just really want to prove that I can do this. I want to grow it very, very, very big. I want to do something where I can look back and be proud of myself, because honestly, my whole life I haven't really been, you know what I mean? Like I didn't come from, so I just want to make something work.
I love it.
I want to pass something down to my kids and let them see like, hey, your dad did it. You know?
Wow. That's a great outlook. And you know, I think you're gonna go places, because as long as you keep that mindset, continue to work at it, because there's so much untapped potential for all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, these are just some of the steps. I hope that was helpful. I mean, it's opened my perspective, Ralph. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And you know, I'm looking forward to continue to talk to you. I want to help you with annuities. You know, so
Cool. I'm down.
we can get some
Cool.
more stuff going. And you know, if you guys need any help, please reach out. I mean, just think about all the stuff that we kind of went over. Like, you're not that far away from where you want to be, but you got to start moving. And if you start doing that, you know, everything's open to you. So appreciate you, Ralph. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate John, Julian, everyone that's on here. Let's go out there and be elite, guys.